Welcome back, everybody.
Her wild policy of self-experimentation grew intolerable. She quaffed all manner of strange fungi, herbs, and concoctions, intent on gaining some insight into the horror we both knew to be growing beneath us. The change in her was appalling, and no longer able to stomach it, I sent her to live in the Weald.
I sent her to live in the woods.
Would be welcomed. There is method in the wild corruption here. It bears a form both wretched and malevolent.
So much like the last episode, we're going to go after the other bosses here. As I mentioned before, I've cut out, or I've eliminated the recordings for the level 2 version of the Siren and Drowned Crew, because it's just going to be a repetition of the same battle twice. So I'm skipping over the middle battle and cutting straight to the level 3 version of the battle, which is supposed to be the most difficult version of it, obviously. And so that'll cut out some long trekking towards the boss twice. So that'll cut out maybe about a couple episodes at least. I want to say a couple hours. That's probably not right. I think when I finished recording everything, initially, it was like too many hours. It was way too many hours. I had to cut down a whole bunch of shit just so that, you know, we're not looking at episodes into December. Because again, as I've said before, unless I have an issue, unless I have some sort of problem that occurs in November, what's likely going to happen is these episodes are only going to be airing on the weekends. I'm going to have, what is that called? What's that game called again? Valkyria Chronicles, airing during the week. That's the plan anyways. So this is actually a very interesting. I'm not sure if I mentioned this yet or not. I have bad memory, as you can tell. But this is such a great duo of enemies. You have the mushroom-headed guys, and their job is the guys. Well, okay. So the guy in slot 4, his job is to mark my characters. And then this guy gets a buff from attacking marked characters, so he gets a ability, as you've seen probably 100 times, called Rend the Mark, which means that he does more damage to marked characters, but they also prioritize those marked characters. So you can use Arbalest to help nullify that by getting rid of the marks on your side. Or that, you can also repost enemies, so. So, what's nice about the traps are, even though you're not guaranteed to disarm traps, you can use that to help reduce stress. So if you've got a character that's got very high stress, or even medium stress, you can use traps. If you select that guy and have him have him disarm the trap, it'll help to reduce their stress, even if by just a little bit. So a heavily trapped area can actually reduce a character stress significantly. If they get, say, 5 whatever they call that, relief, de-stress per trap, and you do that over the course of, say, 5 or 6 traps, I mean, you're talking 25, 30 de-stress. And that's in addition to the other things that de-stress, like criticals, Jester, obviously, bonfires.
Destroyed. Foolish horrors, brought low and driven into the mud. A fortune waiting to be spent.
Waiting to be spent. I'll tell you what I would, if I had to make a change to this, the way this game is set up. One of the things that I would definitely change is boss location. Boss location should occur either in one of a couple places. It should either occur in a dead end, i.e., you know, you're in a room and you have an option of going to stay to that far right-hand dead end. The farthest location from the starting point, which is what the game currently does. Those would be my 2 options. So that when you're at a starting point, you're looking at 2 different dead ends. You know, say the dungeon creates sort of like an M shape, and you start at the center M, and you can either go to the arch to the left or the arch to the right, and either one is valid based on the fact that they both lead to a dead end. Now, I understand there's probably situations where, like, you're on a straight and narrow and every other attachment is a dead end. That would be a pain in the ass. But I've not run into any dungeons like that. I've run in, like, not the wheel, what's the other one? Give me a second. Not the ruin. The Warren. The Warren tends to be a self-contained square where all of the rooms are more or less interchangeable, you know, attached to each other. That would be an example where the boss would always be at the farthest point from the starting point. However, something like this where you have a long stretch of more or less straight ahead rooms where you go from the starting point, you're following more or less a straight line to the last one. If there's any offshoots, I would have a % chance where those would also occur in one of those offshoots. So you're forced to check the offshoots as well. Or you go all the way to the end, obviously, go to the farthest point away from you, only to find out the boss isn't there. You've wasted your bonfire. Now you gotta walk all the way across the room, or across the dungeon.
The way is lit. The path is clear. We require only the strength to follow it.
But that being said, I wouldn't exactly make... Well, either that or I would do this other thing that I thought of while I was playing this game, which is when you fight the level 1 version of the boss, you're in a short dungeon. You're in a dungeon that doesn't have any healing, but you don't need it because it's a short dungeon. It's like 5 or 6 rooms. And the last room, of course, the farthest away room being, of course, being your boss. Then, when you go to the level 2, now you're in a medium dungeon. So you get one of the bonfires.
Mortality
okay.
glorified in a
And again, the boss would probably be the farthest away from your starting point. But when you get to the third one, now you've got 2 bonfires, which not only takes up extra room in your inventory, which causes you issues if you're trying to keep shit or collect shit as you go, but now you're in a long dungeon, and the boss could be literally anywhere. Within understanding, I guess. The boss isn't obviously going to be. You're not going to have a spawn where you start out at point A, and it gives you 4 options, you know, north, south, east, and west, and one of those 4 is the boss. No. But with a long dungeon, typically they have long stretches that branch. You know, I'd have to literally show you, but in the long dungeons, typically they start you at a middle point, and there's a long branch off to the left, and there's a long branch off to the right. So you're essentially looking at a 50-50 as to is the boss to the left or the right. And without being able to count spaces, determine which is the farthest location, you sort of are taking a bit of a risk by going either left or right. Of course, listen to me talking about fucking Darkest Dungeon, which is a very difficult game, which according to my Steam achievement guide, only 6% of the people have actually completed the game, beat the game. So, I don't know. That's a different topic for a different day. I don't understand Steam achievement. Do people download stuff off Steam and then completely log off the internet so they can't ever get achievements? Or do people just buy 500 million games and that's why the achievement, the achievement amount is so low? There's 1 million people that own Darkest Dungeon, but only, say, a quarter of them that played the game, and only 10% of the 1 million people that have bought the game have actually completed it. Sometimes I just don't get it. Look, I understand games like Darkest Dungeon are difficult to beat. That's why I fucking stopped playing, what's it called? Bioshock, or not Bioshock, System Shock. Because, I literally found out the game can become incompletable if I recycle certain items, and was like, I don't know if I want to play this game anymore.
They can be beaten.
This isn't 1995, Sierra where it'll take me an hour and a half because I know the correct choices up to this point to prevent myself from getting a game over. But then again, Sierra has had some of those fuck you moments. There's a fuck you moment where you have to throw a boot at a cat to allow a mouse to survive, because if the cat catches the mouse, you end up in a no-win situation. You have to throw a boot at a cat to prevent a mouse from getting caught, and the mouse chews through your ropes in order to let you go so you don't end up in a game over situation, because the mouse, again, is still alive to chew through the ropes, otherwise he'd be dead. Or at least not feeling that he owes you a life debt.
A handsome reward for a task well performed.
Trying to figure out what to do, not sure what to take and what to leave. Not that it really matters too much, because I've got too much money as it is. That's really only important to you. Here's a question. I think of random questions. I apologize. I think of random questions every so often. Here's my random question for you. Okay. What are hotels for nowadays? I know back in the day, a hotel was designed to be a vacation spot. You know, you take yourself, your wife, your kids, husband, whatever. Depending on what you got going on. Maybe you do a little bit of shebang bang. Maybe you don't, depending if the kids happen to be in the room with you. You know, maybe they have their own room, maybe they don't. I don't know. Not gonna judge. Get a hotel, a motel, doesn't matter. Obviously, not on vacation. What's the point of a hotel? You're on a business trip. Okay, I got it. Great. So what's in your hotel motel now? You got a bed, you got a TV, you got some lights, you got a bathroom to wash yourself up in, right? Back in the day, I don't know if this is still true or not, used to have pools, maybe. You'd have gym, maybe. Workout, you know, you're having a little rest, you're having maybe a vacation, maybe you need to work out, you know, you got those things available for you to use. Don't see too many hotels though anymore with pools, indoor pools, outdoor pools. Outdoor pools particularly. That used to be a thing. And now, like, I'm mind you, I'm strictly talking about the north here, i.e. north of the Mason-Dixon line. Or hell, even a little bit south of that. Say Virginia, New Jersey, Maryland. You don't see that too much anymore. Why? Because pools are only really useful between Memorial Day and Labor Day. After that, it's too cold. So why take care of a pool for a full year when it's only really useful for 3 months? When you make your most money, right, Chris? No. Not worth your time. Anyways. Remember when I was younger, I could just because I'm going to the wrong hotel. Every hotel had a pool. Indoor, outdoor, didn't matter. Usually indoor. Now hotels are like, all about business.
A trifling
you know,
victory.
I'm dealing with the business people because guess what? If it ain't May, June, July, August, people ain't on vacation. Hell, they're probably not even on vacation in May. More than likely. You know? And if they are on vacation, they're going down to Florida or somewhere warm in the winter, you know? Or, I mean, it could be the opposite as well. I mean, obviously, plenty of people love to ski. So you can go up to like a ski resort. You're probably not in a hotel, you're probably at a ski resort. Which is designed to be like a winter hotel, if you will. So, I don't know. I'm gonna ponder what do we want to do here? We want to heal? We don't got a lot of stress, so that's not too bad. That's always a good thing. We want to buff our guys. That's literally the order of operations. Heal your guys, heal their stress, buff your guys. You don't got to worry about stress. You don't got to worry about healing, either because you got a Vestal in your party, or you guys are being more or less healthy. You can buff. That's what you want. You want a buffer. You know, want to buff it out. Buff out all the little problems in your party. Buff them out. Get a little extra bonus. Make him a little faster, a little more accurate, more defense, whatever you need.
The match
Makes
is
this
struck.
makes
A
fighting a
blazing
fucking
star
boss
is
whole
born.
lot easier. I say we murder the hag. She seems like a kind of an okay lady. I know. According to our ancestors, she was relatively beautiful until she started experimenting on herself. Good, we got another battle between here and there. That'll make my life so much better. I love when you have to do a battle and you literally don't know what you're running into. This isn't bad. But sometimes you can run into stress dealers and you're like, I just spent all that time healing my stress. Why do I gotta fucking deal with you? We're not gonna be able to get rid of either one of these guys. The troll is too big, or whatever you want to call him, the giant, the corporeal giant. He's too big, got too much HP, and the girl behind him got invisibility cloak on. So unless I have some way to decloak her, which didn't get that turn one, not gonna happen.
Death waits for the slightest lapse in concentration.
We're doing really great here. You guys, we're already at turn 4. A little bit of stress has already been dealt to me. Guys are not doing super great on their health. So I gotta fucking bleed out some turns here so I can heal them up before the boss. Because I'm literally 2 steps away from the door.
Reeling, about to break. Seize
Don't
this
care.
momentum. Push on to the task's end. As the light gains
So,
purchase,
much like the first 2
spirits are
hag
lifted,
fights,
and purpose
it's a
is
little
made
bit of
clear.
a sprint to get to the,
Twisted
to
and
kill the hag.
unbreakable, a slathering testament to the powers of corruption.
The quicker you can put damage into her and the quicker you can kill her, the better your life is gonna be. Guys, the more time you stand around wasting fucking getting guys out of the pot is less damage you're dealing directly to her. Is extending this fight. And yes, the pot is very boof, is very strong. So we're taking stress damage there. She's eating 4 damage every turn. I have to say though, Vestal, healing Vestal would definitely be, you know, Vestal who heals is what I should say, is definitely someone that I can't have in the pot because I need a healer.
Grievous
Can't
injury.
not have Vestal. So I'm gonna get her out of the pot If she gets put in the pot, I'm gonna get her out of the pot as quickly as possible. Everybody else probably don't care. Ideally, we do want to eventually get him out of the pot, but I'm not too concerned if Man-at-Arms spends another turn in the pot. I know the pot does a percentage damage, it does not do a flat damage. So for Vestal, as you can see, it does less damage than it did to Man-at-Arms, because Man-at-Arms has more HP. Also, the pot cannot be damaged when no one is in it. So like I said, the faster you can deal damage and get rid of the hag, the better. Because ultimately the guys are going to spill out with no health whatsoever. So if you're able to reach in that back row, fucking stick it to her. I don't care. Unfortunately for me, my strategy kind of revolves around Vestal healing and Highwayman reaching into the back row, so I can't exactly have him in the pot either.
Dizzying blow to body and brain.
I lost the turn there, unfortunately. Into the pot. That's okay.
A momentary abatement.
Taste the stew. She gains HP by doing that. Fucking obnoxious.
As life ebbs, terrible vistas of emptiness reveal themselves.
Yeah, a little bit of bleed damage. That'd be great. Shoot him. Great. Throwing fucking bounty hunter back in the pot. Great. That's a crit. Come on. Gotta connect with that. Not doing super great. We've still got this under control, but it's not been an ideal battle. I have 14 health there. I gotta eat. Positive 4 now. That's the counterattack I was looking for earlier. 21 damage.
The wood
Dead.
is still poisoned. The way is still blocked. But less people will be eaten. As victories mount,
Yeah, she needs to stop
so
eating
too
people.
will
Not in her
resistance.
diet. Anyways, we're gonna cut the episode here in just a second. Hope you guys all have a good one until then. And make sure you take care of yourself. Don't end up in the pot.
An eternity of futile struggle.
or penance for my unspeakable transgressions.